Me for a while.
I'm here at the Vintage Fashion Show, and I'm talking to Suzzane Bushnell. Is that the right pronunciation?
That's it, yes.
And Suzzane, how long have you been in the business?
I've been doing the vintage business since 1993.
1993. And what was the thing that got you into it? Why did you choose to?
I spent 50 years as a fashion designer. I helped start the young designer contemporary market in Los Angeles. There were about 6 or 8 of us, and for some reason we all decided to go into business for ourselves at the same time, and there was no contemporary market in Los Angeles then.
So when you were a fashion designer, who were some of the houses that you designed for?
Well, I had my own company from 1963 to 1973. Before that,
and what was the
Suzzette.
So it was just called Suzzette, just one word.
Yeah, Suzzette Incorporated. All those samples those are all original samples of mine right there. One of a kind, never been worn. And
one of a kind.
Mm-hmm.
When you say one of a kind, what does that mean? They went all the trouble to produce.
These were never produced. These are some things that there were samples that never got made up, that I discovered a box full after I moved home.
So what is the technical name for that?
Well, they're unsewn sample garments.
Okay, so unsewn.
Yeah,
they're sewn.
They're cut garments.
So
they're cut but not sewn.
Okay, so they cut them, and so
we cut out an original sample, and then a sample maker makes it up. But at the time, for some reason, some of these never got sewn together.
And why do you think that was the case?
Because I was closing Suzzette to go to work for somebody else, and sometimes, different things come up.
Now, is that in the trade? Is that a typical thing? Do they sometimes cut these things and they don't go far? Or
yeah, if they figure out to be too expensive, they don't go into mass production.
I see.
So some of these things were mass-produced in other fabrics, or, there's a reason why these were not done.
I see.
Some of them, like this one, is one I did in the 1950s. Now, the reason was something I made specially for myself. This is a fabric that was designed by Hubert de Givenchy. It's signed for Robé Fabrics.
It was designed by who?
Hubert de Givenchy.
And who is that?
You don't know who Givenchy is?
Do you know who it is?
One of the most famous French designers there is. You honestly don't know who Givenchy is? He retired a few years ago. He did all this stuff for Audrey Hepburn.
Well, let me stop here. Who would you say were the great designers?
In that era?
In any era.
Ralph Lauren, who is still around. But I still think the other one. He was contemporary with me in the 60s.
And what about him?
Ralph Lauren. All of those brought the American look to the public. They created the American sportswear kind of look.
So they did the same thing that Chanel did 20 years earlier?
No. Chanel did something totally different from that. This was a whole new way of life. That there was no such thing as American sportswear.
So about what year was this happening?
I would say late 50s and heavy-duty 60s, 70s, and of course,
And what was the public reaction to this new form of fashion?
They went crazy. They made a fortune. He has a beautiful ranch someplace in, I don't know, Oklahoma or wherever, and he did a lot of things that had American Indian influence or Western influence. That became kind of his trademark. There was a little before them, Claire McCardle. Now, as far as California originated the swimwear look here. I mean, that made a whole industry.
And who were some of the ones that you had great respect for?
I didn't really delve into that very much, but there was Jansen and Cole, I guess, are the 2 biggest ones that were out here. That started, I think, pretty much right after the Second World War.
So I get the impression there's 2 streams of thought. The one stream of thought that since you were a professional in this business, that you look upon their success, their business success, and then there's the artistic aspect where you look upon the actual greatness of the artistry. So I kind of
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Are you being interviewed?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to look
I want to show you something here. Okay. You know who Valentino is? He's the most famous Italian designer. He and Giorgio Armani. Anyway, this is in a new magazine.
Uh-huh.
This is the same fabric. I imported these circular tablecloths from Spain. This is my design in 1960s. That's his in 2012.
Now that you are retiring from this business, is that
Yeah,
right? What
yeah.
are you going to be doing with yourself?
Well, I hope my husband passed away 5 years ago, so I was taking care of him. But when he passed away, I decided to start making some original designs again, which I hope to do. And I have to find a new way of selling all this inventory that I have.
So you've
I'm
retired not from the business, but from doing the shows.
Yeah, it's the shows. The body is just telling me I got to quit. The pain is too intense.
And